Who were the female rulers that changed ancient history? In a time when men dominated leadership, these women defied expectations, built empires, led armies, and shaped the course of civilization. From fearless warrior queens to brilliant strategists, let's uncover the most powerful women of the ancient world. Why were powerful women so rare in the ancient world? Throughout history, leadership was often considered a man's domain. Most civilizations built their power structures around kings, emperors, and male warriors, leaving little room for female rulers. However, against the odds, some extraordinary women rose to power, proving that leadership and strength know no gender. These women were not mere figureheads. They ruled vast empires, led armies into battle, and redefined what was possible for women in leadership roles. Their reigns shaped economies, inspired revolutions, and left legacies that still influence us today. From Cleopatra's political genius to Boudica's fiery rebellion, each of these women played a crucial role in shaping history. Some ruled through diplomacy, others through war, but all left an indelible mark on civilization. Who were these remarkable women? How did they gain power in a world designed to keep them out? And what lessons can we learn from their incredible stories? Let's find out. How did Hatshepsut rise to power in a male-dominated Egypt? Hatshepsut was not just another Egyptian queen. She was a pharaoh in her own right. When her husband Thutmose II died, her stepson was too young to rule. Instead of acting as a mere regent, she took full control of Egypt, defying tradition by ruling as a king. She adopted male pharaonic symbols, including a false beard and traditional royal attire, to solidify her legitimacy. Under her rule, Egypt flourished, expanding its trade networks and undertaking ambitious building projects, including the famous mortuary temple at Deir el-Bahari. Hatshepsut's reign lasted for nearly 20 years. But after her death, later rulers tried to erase her from history. They chipped away at statues and removed her name from monuments. However, her achievements were too significant to be forgotten. Today, she is remembered as one of Egypt's greatest rulers. This proved that a woman could rule as effectively, if not better, than a man. What made Cleopatra VII one of the most legendary female rulers of all time? Cleopatra was more than just a beautiful queen. She was a brilliant strategist, skilled diplomat, and multilingual ruler who fought to keep Egypt independent from the ever-expanding Roman Empire. She famously allied herself with Julius Caesar and later Mark Antony, using both political acumen and personal charm to strengthen Egypt's position. However, her true power came from her intelligence. She could speak multiple languages and directly engage with foreign leaders without translators. Despite her efforts, Cleopatra's reign ended in tragedy. After Mark Antony's defeat at the Battle of Actium, she chose to take her own life, rather than be paraded through Rome as a prisoner. Her death marked the end of Egyptian rule, as the country became a province of Rome. Even today, Cleopatra is remembered as one of history's most fascinating rulers. She embodied the perfect blend of intellect, ambition, and resilience to make her legendary. How did Boudica become a warrior queen feared by Rome? Boudica, the queen of the Iceni tribe in Britain, became an icon of resistance after her people were brutalized by Roman invaders. Her husband, King Prasutagus, had ruled as a Roman ally, but upon his death, Rome refused to honor his will. Instead, they seized Iceni lands, publicly humiliated Boudica, and brutally attacked her daughters. This act of betrayal turned her from queen to avenger. Rather than surrender, Boudica united multiple Celtic tribes, something that had never been done before. Her forces, driven by anger and a thirst for justice, launched one of the largest uprisings Rome had ever faced. In a dramatic series of battles, they burned entire Roman settlements to the ground, including Londinium or modern-day London, killing thousands in the process. Her army's success terrified Rome. The Roman governor, Suetonius Paulinus, was forced to reorganize his legions to stop her advance. In the final battle, despite their overwhelming numbers, Boudica's forces were defeated by Rome's superior military discipline. Rather than be captured, Boudica is believed to have poisoned herself, ensuring she would not be paraded through Rome as a war trophy. Her story became legendary, inspiring future generations as a symbol of freedom, defiance, and the unbreakable will of a warrior queen. Even today, she is remembered as one of Britain's greatest historical figures, proving that one woman's resistance could shake an empire. How did Wu Zetian rise from concubine to Empress of China? Wu Zetian began as a concubine in the Tang dynasty, but quickly proved her intelligence and ambition. She outmaneuvered rivals, gaining influence until she became the only female emperor in Chinese history. She transformed China, expanding the empire's borders and promoting education and merit-based government positions. She also strengthened Buddhism, commissioning magnificent statues and temples. Despite her many achievements, critics painted her as ruthless, accusing her of eliminating rivals. However, her rule brought stability and prosperity, and she remains one of the most controversial yet effective rulers in Chinese history. Her legacy challenges traditional narratives. It proved that a woman could outmaneuver and outgovern the most powerful men of her time. How did Zenobia nearly break Roman rule in the East? Zenobia, the Queen of Palmyra, was one of the boldest challengers to Roman authority. After her husband's mysterious death, she seized power and refused to bow to Rome. Unlike many rulers who sought Roman favor, Zenobia had far greater ambitions. She wanted to establish a new empire in the East. She launched a brilliant military campaign, expanding her kingdom's reach across Syria and even taking control of Egypt, a region vital to Roman resources. Unlike other leaders who feared Rome's might, she was fearless. Her conquests were swift, strategic, and wildly successful. At her peak, she ruled over territories stretching from Anatolia to the Red Sea. Her strength was not just in battle, she was both a scholar and a diplomat. Fluent in multiple languages, she surrounded herself with intellectuals and philosophers. This fostered a cultural and economic golden age in Palmyra. Under her leadership, her city thrived, becoming a hub of trade and innovation. However, Rome would not tolerate her defiance. The Emperor Aurelian led a brutal campaign to reclaim her territories. Despite her strong resistance, Zenobia was eventually captured and paraded through Rome in chains as a warning to others. Although her empire was crushed, her unbreakable will and defiance against the world's most powerful empire secured her place in history. Did these powerful women have an impact beyond their lifetimes? While many of these rulers faced efforts to erase their legacies, their influence has continued for centuries. Their stories became sources of inspiration for later female leaders, political movements, and revolutions. Their existence challenged deeply ingrained societal norms, proving that women were not only capable of ruling, but could do so successfully. Even in times when history tried to suppress their achievements, their names and actions have continued to inspire future generations. Modern feminist movements often look back at these figures as symbols of strength and perseverance. Their legacies serve as proof that barriers can be broken, and that leadership is not defined by gender, but by ability and determination. Today, women in politics, business, and leadership continue to draw strength from these historical figures. This reminds us that the fight for representation and recognition has deep roots in history. What can these powerful women teach us today? Despite the challenges they faced, these women proved that leadership is not about gender, but about vision, strategy, and strength. Their reigns shaped history, proving that a woman's rule could be just as transformative, if not more so, than a man's. Their stories also show that power comes in many forms. Some fought through diplomacy, others through war. Some expanded their empires, while others led rebellions. Regardless of how they ruled, they left legacies that transcended their own lifetimes. These stories remind us that courage, intelligence, and determination can overcome even the most entrenched societal barriers. The women of history did not simply accept the status quo, they challenged it, changed it, and redefined the possibilities of leadership. The question now is, who are the powerful women shaping the world today? And will their legacies stand the test of time like those of these ancient queens and warriors? Who do you think was the greatest female ruler in history? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notifications bell if you love history and want more deep dives into the past. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.